It's time to sip that coffee, get your mind right, and vibe with the queen herself. We're dishing out hot topics, wellness tips of the day, and things that make you go, Let's get this palace party started.
All right. And that's exactly what we are about to do, y'all. We are about to get this party started on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you, everybody, for pulling up. We are coming in hot today. And let me just say this, honey, I got a lot of updates for y'all, not just on this Diddy trial, but I like to work this thing slow, baby. I like to work this thing slow. We're going to cover Diddy. We have some updates on David. Y'all, Pastor John Gray is out here acting a fool. We're going to talk about him. We got a lot of updates, okay, coming. But today, for this quick lunch power hour, we are going to focus on Cassie and Diddy. Cassie spun the block on Diddy. I knew there was going to, look, let me tell you the importance of what's happening. September 30th. This Friday, Diddy receives his sentence. He's going to find out if he's a free man or if his ass is going to if he's going to serve time, okay? This is very strategic what Cassie and the prosecutors and the government is doing. This is how Mark Agnifilo should be moving, opposed to knee-jerk reactions to everything that Diddy doesn't like. And I'm going to get into that. This is how you move. You make your next move your best move. And Diddy, I'm going to say this again. I think he would have been better served being strategic, maximizing the moment, and not rebuttaling every single thing that has been placed in front of him, including what he gets to wear to court. It's given toddlers and tiaras. It's giving a man who can't take no. And I'm afraid what's happening, Diddy, is that you're exemplifying, or you have exemplified, the same behavior that the victims have said that you've exemplified when, as it relates to coercion, your intent to transport for prostitution. This is not about whose side you're on, you guys. This is not about what this is about for me. That's not what I'm covering. Okay. So don't get in my comments so much you must like or you must not like. Baby, we like to break things down over here. I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. You got to be very strategic in these legal games of chess. Diddy had a reaction to every freaking thing that the court has decided that was not in his favor. And what it does is his reaction, or his attorney's reaction, right? His legal team, it shows the same behavior that the victims accuse them of and everybody that he's worked with, right? One of the primary themes that kept reoccurring in the court is he cannot take no for an answer, which is why I strongly believe that the judge did not grant you bail. It's not whether I agree or disagree. I'm just pointing out some key facts that you have to remember and recall as we're 48 hours out. We're about 48 hours out from his sentencing. Okay. Diddy's reaction, defiling, the just everything is just saying, damn, this man won't take no for an answer. Which is why Cassie came back and gave this letter to the judge to say, listen, lock him up. For real, for real. You see how he's acting? She sent a chilling letter to the judge saying, I know this man better than you. Not in those words, I'm just paraphrasing. I know this man better than you. Here's what I endured with him for 11 years. It was so extensive that I wanted to take my own life. And not only that, I'm scared that if he comes home, true or untrue, he's going to come after me. This is a man that you don't tell no. This is a man that you don't turn your back on. And Your Honor, I did the unthinkable. I had the audacity to come in that courthouse and sit on that witness stand and tell everything. I'm afraid. I need you to keep him in jail. Listen, I want to connect the dots for you all. I don't know if you understand the play here. The prosecutors are asking for the same amount of years. They're going year for year. Did anybody else catch that? They're asking that Diddy have to serve 11 years. That's the same amount of time that he was with Cassie. Did anybody notice the alignment, the symbolism of it all? They want year for year. They said $30 million, $20 million, whatever you think you gave is not enough. We want to go toe to toe, year for year. I fear, my concern is Diddy may just do time. Here's why. Betty Boop said she caught it. Did you catch the correlation? Yeah, listen, I look at things completely different. I look at things, I was like, there's always a hidden message in something. They want to go year for year. And plus, you know what? Add on it. They want to go 11 years, 90 days, and a $500,000 fine. Restitution. That's give us a year. We want him to serve a year for every year that he kept her in what she believes to be captivity. Every year he groomed her, let him sit there and think about it. Let him feel the reality of that. I'm just speaking as if I'm the prosecutor. And you guys, sometimes I'm so good at my commentary. Many of you believe that's what you believe. Listen, I'm here to do commentary. Don't focus on me, focus on the commentary. So that's what the prosecutors and the government has come back to ask. I believe he may get a lot of time. I don't think, I wonder if the judge is looking at it from the trial aspect or from the behavior that Diddy has exhibited. Diddy has been very persistent that it can be perceived as annoying. Harassment, sort of. And I don't know whose idea it is or was to follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. I understand, or I think I understand the notion of, hey, this man wants to come home, so he's going to leave no stone unturned. I get it, but don't be sloppy with it. Don't be childlike with it. And I think at this point, towards the end, what we were seeing over the last couple of months, I want to wear this to sentencing. I want to wear this to court. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's giving. Wow. You are who they say you are. You do coerce people to do what you want them to do. There is no rest for the weary in your camp. I'm not saying I believe that, but I'm just saying that's how that comes across, right? Damn, nobody can just leave you without harassment. Look at how you're harassing, allegedly, the court. Nigga, go sit your ass down somewhere. Show yourself approved. Be more strategic. Don't jump on everything. And what it's showing is a lack of self-restraint. Listen, it don't matter it's like a kid. When mama, can I go outside? Mama, can I have a cookie? Mama, can I get some ice cream? Why? But why? But why? But why? And that's the part, I think, on his own accord that he's proven to the court post verdict. And that's why I feel like he just may do some time. I feel like he just may do some time. Thank you. They called me Corporate D, but she said, I agree. The soul of the matter said Diddy was violent, used coercion and force that will play a part in the sentencing. He will probably get the 11 years. Yeah. But I get it. I don't even think the judge will have to look at the violence and the coercion and go back and look at the victim's testimony or anything like that. I am strictly focused on his behavior the last couple of months where people say, see, I told you. I told you, judge. You thought it was bad for us. He about to harass the hell out of you. And his attorneys probably, this is not I'm just playing devil's advocate, you guys. I told you. But on the other hand, I can also understand a billionaire being locked up. And how you get to billionaire status is not by taking no for an answer, but you have to realize when it's going rogue. And I kind of feel like some of these notions and filings that Diddy's defense team have issued over the past couple of weeks, I'm like, listen, sit your ass down. Golly, I know the judge tired. I know he tired. I know they was tired of them free cops. If this is you doing all this just to wear, because you don't want to wear. Oh, hell yeah, I know you wore them out in those freak offs. That's all I'm saying. And you're proving that you don't have a sense of balance. You don't have a sense of awareness. You don't have a sense of when to pull back. Toot says him appearing in jail clothes does leave one to think of the perception. Bobby's law said a judge cannot just sentence you in federal court. There's a sentencing guidelines. I understand that. But he can most certainly take into consideration the recommendation of the state. You get what I'm saying? That's true. But they're asking for year. That's what they're asking for. Now, let me ask you all this before I get into the letter. Do you believe that Diddy is going to come home? Do you believe he's coming home? Yes or no? I don't think he's coming home. I was, I'm conflicted. I was like, shit, should I jump on an airplane and go back up there and cover the trial for you all? The last day, it's Friday. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be crazy. Do I feel like dealing with that? And then I had to look at the judge, who's not a pushover at all. And there were times when I've sat in that trial and I've watched the judge come back, there were times I was like, are you biased? But then I realized, no, he's just not a pushover. He's going to do exactly what he's supposed to do. He's not going to get caught slipping on either side for the prosecution and or the defense. And I really feel like Diddy has finally met his match. And I'm not sure that I'm comfortable in saying that he will be home soon. Cassie stood on business. She penned a letter to the judge recently, and she made it very clear that he's a danger to her, that she still has nightmares regarding him, what she endured with him, and the possible release that's coming up soon. She said, I had thoughts of suicide. I wonder if she's still struggling. When she said that, I'm wondering, like, are you talking about now or what we heard in the court in the previous, over the past months? I'm going to give you just a little bit of what she wrote and share the screen so that you can follow along with me. I think he's going to do some time. I think there's a lot of pressure on the Southern District of New York. I think, let me just tell you why. With the abrupt firing of Maureen Comey, now that James Comey has been indicted, watch. People are people. The judge may feel that it's his duty to show that nobody can push us around. We are here to do a job. And whether you sit way up high or if you're a billionaire mogul in the rap industry, we're tired. Nobody's going to F and push us around. And I think they may use Diddy. There may have been some consideration of allowing this thing to kind of go quietly away. But I think the meddling of the current administration, y'all get what I'm saying, may have sealed the deal. Because they're getting pushed around left and right. No, I got the wrong tab. They're getting pushed around left and right. And they're tired. Give me 1 second. Here's the letter that Cassie penned to the judge. She says, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. Dear Judge Subramanian, I hope I'm saying it right. I have been in a cycle of thought and then overthought writing this letter to you. If there is one thing I have learned from this experience, it is that victims and survivors will never be safe. Although I can hope for justice and accountability, I have come to not trust anything. I hope that your decision considers the truths at hand that the jury failed to see. Ooh, that was a direct shot at the jury. For 4 days in May, while 9 months pregnant with my son, I testified in front of a packed courtroom about the most traumatic and horrifying chapter in my life. I testified that from age 19, Sean Combs used violence, threats, substances, and control over my career to trap me in over a decade of abuse. He groomed me into performing repeated sex acts with hired male sex workers during multi-day freak-offs, which occurred nearly weekly. I was forced into lingerie and heels, told exactly how to look, and plied with drugs and alcohol so he could control me like a puppet. These events were degrading and disgusting, leaving me with infections, illnesses, and days of physical and emotional exhaustion before he demanded it all again. Sex acts became my full time job, used as the only way to stay in his good graces. Pause right there. That's what I'm saying. This, what she's reiterating, is you can't tell him no. Diddy, what you've demonstrated after the verdict of you being found not guilty of a RICO, not guilty of sex trafficking, not guilty of kidnapping, but the behaviors that you're demonstrating validates what Cassie and the other women have said about you, whether it was consensual or not. They're saying he's going to badger you so much so that shit, after a while, you be like, go ahead, come on, just bring them on in here. Damn, where they at? Because you're not going to leave me alone until I do. And that's what I'm saying, Mark Agnifilo, because I know damn well Brian still ain't behind this. Mark, you cannot allow Diddy to lead the legal strategy. And at first I didn't believe it from going in the courtroom that he was leading the legal strategy because I could sit there and see. But now all of this, file this, do this, I want to wear this. I believe Diddy may be leading that strategy, and it's not a good look. I testified, she goes on to say, that I learned to read Sean Combs as signals, knowing that when he spoke of freak-offs, he was demanding them, and that refusing meant punishment, losing my car, my phone, or worse. He controlled every part of my livelihood and threatened to destroy my reputation by leaking sex tapes, a threat he repeated often. His power over me eroded my independence and sense of self until I felt I had no choice but to submit. Damn, this is a brilliant letter. Because without her saying it directly, she's saying he's doing the same thing to the court. You see it in real time. You know I'm not making it up in real time. This has nothing to do with a couple that was in love, that consented. I'm saying he wore me down with his persistency that I felt I had no choice but to submit. And when he believed I had wronged him or was not sufficiently responsive, he also threatened people around me and those close to me, including my family. Hold on. I repeatedly worried that displeasing him meant putting my family and friends' safety at risk. I testified how, beyond these threats, Sean Combs frequently used violence to get his way. Over the nearly 11 years we were together, bingo, 11 for 11. We going 1 for 1, toe to toe. Sean Combs would hit me, punch me, stomp on my face, pull my hair, and throw my body to the ground and against the wall. The jury saw the pictures. That's what she's saying. She said, listen, I'm not lying. You saw the evidence. The jury saw the evidence. And just in case you don't remember, Your Honor, let me refresh your memory. And I'll show you those pictures in just a second. I'll show you those. Give me 1 second. Hold on. She says the jury saw the pictures of bruises on my back from Combs kicking me and saw the deep gash over my eye he caused when he slammed me into a bed frame. The entire courtroom watched an actual footage of Combs kicking and beating me as I tried to run away from a freak off in 2016. People watched this footage dozens of times, seeing my body thrown to the ground, my hands over my head, curled into a fetal position to shield me from the worst blows. This physical violence caused bruises that makeup artists, and she put in parentheses, paid for by Sean Combs, would cover up, as well as permanent scars all over my body. Why is this important? She's saying I had no control, even from me selecting my own makeup artist. Just like the defending legal team has no control. The same ones he paid for. He paid for Jane Doe's. He pays for my makeup team. He controls everybody. I'm just showing you the significance and how well thought out this letter is. And it's in perfect alignment of the behaviors that he's exhibiting in front of the court. It has nothing to do with what he's done to others, but she's just laying it out there. She goes on to say, reliving in detail the events and truths described throughout the trial, and this letter causes me tremendous emotional pain. I am trying with all that I am to move on. I hope that your sentencing decision reflects the strength it took for victims of Sean Combs to come forward. I hope that your decision, she's saying your decision, she's talking to him now, considers the many lives that Sean Combs has appended with him, with his abuse and control. I thank you for your time and attention. That's a good letter, y'all. Whether you love it, like it, it's a good letter. I understand that Diddy's doing a lot in the jail, and some of you say, no, he put on a special program where he's teaching, but he still has the same behaviors that the victims have talked about, the coercive behaviors, okay? The coercive behaviors. This is not going to go away overnight. This is not anything that anger management is going to cure. This is not anything that therapy is going to rectify immediately. This is years and years and years of a man who's become accustomed to having his way. Here's one of the pictures, the exhibits that Cassie named in her letter to the judge to show some of the bruises on her body. Here's another picture that she mentioned in her letter to the judge with the deep gash on her head. Okay. And last but not least, this is the final photo that she showed of herself with a busted lip post incident at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, California. Whew, I don't know. That was a hell of a letter, which leads me to believe he just may get some time. I don't think he's going to walk. I could be wrong now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We're going to come back and say, damn, I was wrong. This is not about me wanting him to do time, needing him to do time. I'm not that heavily involved, to be honest with you. Based on the behaviors that he's demonstrated over the past couple of months, he may get some time. Because he just refuses to accept no. He refuses to just chill for a quick second. Paula B says he has not learned a thing. The stuff he's done in jail is for himself. He's a narcissist. Okay, Belle Book and Black Magic says she's manipulative and wants her lick back, and I totally get it. Crystal says, in my opinion, people seem to forget this abuse started when she was 19 up until she left Diddy. And to be honest, here's the crazy part about it. And I'm going to just focus on Cassie for a quick second. When you go from man to man, did you really heal? Because Cassie went from Ryan Leslie to Diddy, Diddy to Kid Cudi, back to Diddy, to Michael B. Jordan, back to Diddy. There's been this cycle of men. And then she lands her final destination with Alex Fine. So, Cassie, I do understand the notion of the horrendous events that took place with your entanglement with Diddy, but there has to be a level of responsibility and accountability as a woman. You never took a break between relationship to relationship or entanglement to entanglement. So I think there's a swirl of infliction from all of them. We're not talking about why she was young. She was not 19 when she was with Kid Cudi. She was well into her late 20s and 30s. She was not 19 when she was with Michael B. Jordan. She was not 19 when she was with her husband. Okay? I'm saying she never took a break. Now, if we're going to talk about one side of the coin, we have to be adult and mature enough to talk about the other side of the coin. She was not 19. She was actually 16 when she started dating in the rap industry. And she dated a man that was 10 years her senior. But that's not important. That's not what I'm talking about today. I do like to deal in facts. I just didn't know y'all wanted to go that deep. But what I'm saying is some of the impact that she's feeling may be an accumulation of everything that she's endured from all of the men and even the ones prior to the point where she met Diddy. Okay? Whew, that's all I'm saying. It didn't start when she was 19. It actually started when she was 16, possibly sooner. Hell, we dealing with the same thing with Celeste Rivas. Why are these grown-ass men being allowed to date these teenage girls? You see what I'm saying? So Cassie was in a full-blown committed relationship at age 16 with Ryan Leslie, and we all want to pat him on the back like he's a hero. No, you're petty. 10 years older. Patty, she was in a 3-year relationship with you. You were 10 years older. I always say nobody's hands is clean in this situation. That's it. That's all. I believe some of the trauma she's experiencing is a combination of it all. And it's gonna be hard to dissect what came from who when your parents and the adults around you allowed you to be propped up on a buffet table for men to feed off you as they please. I mean, we can go deep, but I just don't want to right now. Chris said that. Oh, he said that the Puff is about to do the same amount of years he made Shane do. The universe always has a way of spinning the block. Listen, I have to agree. I have to agree. And if you listen to Cassie's letter, she said, let me go back. In her letter, close this out. Oh, man, hold on. Let me get the letter right here. At the end, hold on. Give me 1 second. I got to get to the last part. I hope that your decision considers the many lives that Sean Combs has appended with his abuse and control. The many lives. That was very thoughtful, very strategic. Don't just focus on me, Your Honor. Focus on everybody. Very thoughtful. And some of y'all didn't like the fact that I came. You coming after Young Miami. She should have never wrote a letter. You play too much. This is not a laughing matter at all. That's a good man, Your Honor. Okay, you playing. If you're going to write a letter, I don't care what side of the fence you're writing it for. It better be brilliant. It better not sound like a city girl. You see how Cassie sat there and gave it a lot of thought before she picked up pen and put it to paper? It's like a rap artist or an artist, a music singer that's going into the studio. Let me give it a lot of thought. Let me get into character. That was a half-assed letter. Nobody's going to remember that. The judge, you can't put Young Miami's letter against Cassie, but if she had thought it out a little bit more, you could have. Chris Hollis said he ain't going home. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. And I thought about flying down there. Number one, it's hella expensive. Number two, I was like, do I want to be a part of the frenzy? Do I want to be a part of the frenzy? I don't know. I was like, do I want to go? It was a mess. Bell Book and Blue Magic. It was a mess. She's a loose girl that need to take accountability for uselessness. She's just a bitter reject. She should have considered all of that when she went for the money. Well, I mean, it works on both sides, right? Although it was consensual from both, he should have considered the cost too, because he's a billionaire that could have had anything he wanted. With one, I mean, if we're gonna call it, that's why I love this community. We can say the same thing about him. How much is enough? Enough? When is it enough? Not enough? Like, how big is your appetite? And that's why I think the judge. At first, I didn't understand, you know, why he didn't get a bill. I didn't. But that's not anything I publicize. Now I get it. Now I get it. These people have been in these positions for quite some time. They've seen how this works. They understand the risk better than we do. And if that's the behavior and the pushback that you're exhibiting, you kind of badgered that court. You know, you kind of badgered them folks. You worried them damn people to death. You should have been sitting still leading up. The 30 days leading up to your sentencing, you should have went quiet. You should have went, like you say, off grid. You should have been an afterthought to the court, not a nuisance. I didn't say her parents pushed her, but I do know you're still a parent over a 16-year-old. I do know that at 16, she was with a 26-year-old man. Now, how is it now that because I said, y'all have aesthetic bias. Now, we want to hold Celeste, Reva's parents accountable, but when it comes to Cassie's, well, they didn't know. How come you don't know what your child is doing at 16? Simone Wealthy. I didn't say they pushed her into the lifestyle. I said until at 16, you are responsible for your child. And if you don't want to be responsible for your children, hand them over to the courts. Let them become wards of the state. So there is a responsibility from every adult, period, point blank. Unless, maybe some of y'all just think that, no, I don't know. I still believe there should have been a tighter rein on her as a 16-year-old girl. If we're looking at the impact of her being around these men, nightmares, suicide, she's been touched by a lot of men since a very young age. Diddy was not her first touch. Not to excuse anything that he's done, but where the hell were the parents? Where in the hell were the parents? That's all I'm saying. I'm going to always look at parents. Anytime there's a child involved, ma'am, sir. Kids do lie. But you can't hop no flight and fly all over the country. You didn't do that, Simone. You have to have permission in some instances. You have to have their green light in some instances. So you can't compare your life to her life. You can't disappear and go in the studio at age 16 without their permission, without them calling the police. You can't lie that heavy without parents saying, hold on, where in the hell is my daughter? That's all I'm saying. Now, come on now. I'm not saying she's right or wrong. I'm saying I think there is a combination of trauma that she may be feeling from the various relationships that she's had to endure since age 16. That's all. That's it. That's all. But at the end of the day, Diddy, I don't know. You may have outsmarted yourself with your persistent need to adjust the legal system according to how you see fit. That's it. That's all. I don't want to burden y'all. I said I was going to be on here for 35 minutes. We're at 36. We got more content coming. Thank you, Chris. He said it's definitely a mixed bag. That's all I'm saying. That cannot be argued. You cannot skip the fact, oh, that a child has been tampered with by a man and just go to 19. We got to back up. We got to back all the way up. I am. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. I see what you're saying. Thank you. You wouldn't waste your time. Now they're talking about New York. I think I won't. Probably not for a Friday. Probably not. New York Happy Hour says, I've known people to flock to him and do anything for him back in the 80s. A young lady I worked with, part of his entourage back then, and would do anything to hang out. A lot of young girls do. Hell, a lot of women do. You ain't even got to be young anymore. That's it. That's all I got. I just wanted to, let's go to the prosecutors real quick. Let's see what they're asking for. I don't know, Chris. It's going to be a last minute decision. It's going to be a last minute decision. Chris is asking if I'm going to the trial. Hold on. Y'all are saying it ain't even worth it. They say it ain't worth it, child. Now let's go to the prosecutors. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to show it to you. I don't know how much I'm going to read it, but this is what they sent to the judge. And they say throughout the case and over the course of a 7-week trial, this court has seen extensive evidence demonstrating the defendant's criminal conduct perpetuated across more than a decade. They're referring to Cassie. At trial, the defendant disputed that the government had made out particular elements of the charged federal offenses, but he largely conceded his conduct, the violence, domestic abuse, drug use, and distribution and bribery. The defendant will not be punished for any crimes of which he was acquitted, of course, but punishment for his crimes of conviction must take into account the manner in which he committed them. His crimes of conviction are serious and have warranted sentences over 10 years in multiple cases for defendants who, like Sean Combs, engaged in violence and put others in fear. Consistent with those cases and based on the corroborated evidence presented at trial, this court shall or should impose a sentence of no less than 135 months imprisonment. A substantial term of imprisonment, that's my Texas accent coming through, is also needed in this case because the defendant is unrepentant. Now, Diddy, that's what it's given. I try to stay in the middle. Incredibly, while the defendant conceded his acts of violence and abuse throughout trial, he now argues that his victim should shoulder the blame. And then they mention a case. Okay. The defendant tries to recast decades of abuse as simply the function of mutually toxic relationships. But there is nothing mutual about a relationship where one person holds all the power and the other ends up blooded and bruised. Now, this is what they're talking about. They're not talking about during the trial, right? The closing arguments. Some of the filings that his legal team came back highlighted, this was mutually benefit. Why are y'all even talking about it? Just quote the law, what you're fighting, what your rebuttal is, cite evidence and cases that you're using to ask for what you need and get the hell up out of there. So that's what the prosecutors are talking about, that they came back and highlighted, this is just a mutual relationship. She said, there's nothing mutual. when you're the only one that holds the power. And the other one gets the worst side of the stick than you do. And they end up bloodied and bruised. And we'll stop there. Hold on. Okay, Cassie's letter is actually really extensive. I didn't read the whole thing. It's out there. For those of you that would like to. I thought I did. She said she had to go and get cleaned up. She became dependent on drugs just to be able to, yeah, live this life and commit these acts. Yeah, you can't be sober, of sober mind. Jane Doe testified that she tried to do the freak off sober. I think it was over 30 hours and it was horrible. That's all we have for today. I will be updating you leading up till Friday. I think it's going to be mayhem out there, rightfully so. I'm not sure what to expect, but if we're going on Diddy's behavior post verdict, there's a good chance the judge could be irritated. There's a good chance that they may come back and fire off just to prove we will not be pushed around by anybody. They've been pushed around quite a bit. The Southern District of New York, they just dropped the charges against a few charges against Luigi Mangione, Miss Janice, Sean Combs' mother. Her charges of the RICO was dropped against her. So it's like, damn, can we do our job? We shall see. Until then, thank you everybody for tuning in. I will see you all next time.